and sit down.
Hello again. Welcome to another edition of the Rural Report. I'm your Rural 2IC, and today we're going to do something a little different per se. And what we're going to do, if I move over to the side, like always, right here, I stumbled upon this. This is going to be an article, and I will actually drop a link to this. I'm not stealing anybody's work, so he's going to get the credit for it. But Bryan Lynch has put this out. And it is the Prepper Myths and Realities. And here is 7 of them that I'm going to go through and share with you. And I'll kind of broaden it a little bit, give my input or whatnot. But he's done a really great job. So make sure you go check out Bryan's work. And let's go ahead and dive into this. All right, so the first one that he has in his article right here is the Countdown to Doomsday, which says the myth. Preppers sitting around longing for doomsday to happen. He goes on to say, reality, this myth is probably the least accurate one on the list and is annoying because for doomsday, whatever it is, will affect everybody in an extremely bad way. And goes on to basically say that if you had some really actual bad doomsday event, whatever that might be for whatever scenario, let's go extreme and say alien invasion, zombies, whatever. If it's true doomsday, probably nobody's going to survive anyway because it's the end of the world. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to say I agree with him 100%. Anybody who's sitting around going, man, I cannot wait for the world to end for whatever reason and all this other stuff, this is not a video game. If something goes down to where you have to bust out your preps, even if it's just something that is personal and for yourself or your family or whatnot, that is a bad thing that you wish. In the prepping community, you prepare for the worst, hoping for the best. And so anybody who's sitting around actively hoping and wishing for the world to end is probably just live action role playing or LARPing, to where they just want to dress up and play the part to kind of fit in or look cool or whatnot. That's actually not what prepping's all about. So, Bryan, I'll give you a good one on this. All right, so next on the list is Apocalypse or Bust. This goes with the one that we just talked about. Myth, preppers only prepare for the apocalypse. Reality, this one is similar to the one we just talked about. And the word apocalypse is thrown around and kind of don't even know what it means anymore. And it's one of those ones that, again, I'm going to agree with him on this. Like we kind of went through and said, if it is a true doomsday thing, probably nobody's going to survive anyway. And that if you're just running around only preparing for that, you're kind of really overlooking the things that you should be preparing for. In my opinion, what you do is you prepare for the things that will happen or more likely to happen. Statistically, will you face a job loss or some sort of act of nature, act of God? Yes, statistically, you probably will. Statistically, will you have some, alien invasion? We haven't really yet. Could happen, I suppose. But don't prepare for that without preparing for the stuff that probably or is more likely to affect you first. All right, next up on the list, Locked and Loaded. Myth. Preppers are gun-toting maniacs that sit around on a huge cache of weapons and ammunition that would rival any military depot. Reality? Not even close. Most preppers do have firearms, but there are preppers out there that don't like firearms. So, will I agree? Absolutely. Knowing a lot of people in the prepper community, are there ones out there that don't like firearms? Yes, there is. Uh, Firearms, hands down, is going to be the greatest self-defense tool there is. My opinion. There's basically, it's one of the ones that if you have a firearm, it really helps you in most situations that you have to do self-defense. It's going to be better than sticks and stones, bows and arrows, things like that. But I get it. Firearms are not for everybody. There's a lot of people in the prepping community that, they only have a rifle or a shotgun or, one of each, because for them, they can be used as self-defense. They are a firearm, but they're tools. They're for hunting, and getting meat for themselves or the family. Do they have, a bunch of ammo just laying around? No, not really. They got enough that they need in order to survive with. And that's kind of the whole purpose of being in the prepping community, is to make sure that you have what you need in order to carry on. All right, next, and this is kind of one of my favorites that he wrote about. Are they looking at me? Myth. Preppers are paranoid conspiracy theories that see danger everywhere. Myth, or the reality, excuse me. While there are some out there, most preppers are level-headed individuals. They're usually well-informed of the local, national, and worldly news, because information helps you stay prepared for future events. 1000% agree right there. If you look at all the people that's in the prepping community, you can kind of tell on, what they talk about and how they act and whatnot. If all they do is they grab their long semi-automatic rifle and they throw on their plate carrier and throw on a little war paint and, talk about how many zombies they can take out at a single, round, probably not a real prepper. Most of the time, if you really kind of look into it, if you go to a prepping event, or any sort of a get together, we're all just average, everyday, tax paying, usually, a 40-hour week kind of people. We don't stand out. And that's kind of one of the things for prepping, is you don't stand out. You're not supposed to stand out. You just have a little extra on the side, food, water, things like that. So that way you can get through, a situation. But usually the people that are paranoid, they're just playing some sort of weird live action role playing game. So for 99% of anybody that's ever going to watch this, just sit back, do what you need to do, so that way you can prepare yourself and remain a part of society, because no matter what goes down or what balloon goes up, humanity has to survive. And so to lone wolf and run off into the sunset, even if you survive, congratulations. Who are you going to share it with? What was the whole point of surviving when you're alone? So on this one, 1000% agree. Good article on that one. Let's move on. Next on the list, lock the gate. Myth. Preppers live in an impenetrable fortress behind a fortified wall. Reality. So what we kind of just talked about, look out the window and you see that completely normal house looking across the street. That person might be, and he puts probably is, but might be a prepper. Again, I agree. Just what we said in the last segment was most preppers, most people in the preparedness community, are just your average, everyday, normal citizen that just goes a little further than, what maybe the societal norm is. So instead of getting 2 cans of corn for the week, you might grab 4, 2 to put away just in case. You look into your grandparents, great grandparents further down the line, and they sit there and they talk about, those were survivalist times, and they did that for whatever. And the names have kind of changed, that we call it prepping, and we kind of take it for granted, at least some of us do, that anything that you need is literally a tap away. It's at your fingertips. And so a lot of this, all the knowledge and skill and everything has kind of went through generations. It was not passed along. So to jump back on point here, yeah, I 100% agree. It's one of them ones of, I would say that myth is completely busted. All right, let's keep going on this. This one's great too. Off to the bunker, missile silo, or other bug out location. Myth: preppers have a secondary location like a bunker or refurbished missile silo they can retreat to. Yes, I can hear everybody laughing. Reality: how much money do you think most preppers have? Yes, some preppers do have a secondary location, a bug out location, but I'm going to say that probably 99.999% of anybody that watches this does not have the money nor resources to have an underground bunker of any sort. So for the people that look upon the prepping community like every single one of us have one, I don't, and I must have overslept or missed the memo on how to go get mine. That's not something that you plant and just grow your own bunker. And I didn't see a buy one, get one free in the Sunday paper. So, no, sorry. Myth busted. Good job on this one. I've seen it a lot around. Completely not true. All right, let's go ahead and finish this on out, because this one is also a good one. Hoarding on aisle number 9. Myth: preppers hoard everything and cause, food shortages and product shortages. And I'll give him credit on this one. Reality: yes, there is a little bit of truth to this, but overall it's completely wrong. He goes on to explain that many preppers do have the finances to go out and get extra food and supplies and whatnot. Usually they don't have the finances to go buy a year's worth of all that at one time. And I will completely agree with that. Most of the time, when it becomes to the prepper community, especially you, if you're here watching this, you're more than likely a beginning prepper just starting out. And I'm going to guess that you probably don't have thousands of dollars just sitting in the bank and you have no idea what to do with it. And suddenly you wake up and go, I want to be prepared. And you just go out and spend $50,000 on cases, or let's go even more, skids of water and skids of food and skids of supplies. One person, if they did that, is not going to disrupt the supply chain. If 1,000 people from every state did it, maybe some states might see some things, or some small towns, but it would take an awful lot of people spending a stupid crazy amount of money to be able to disrupt the supply chain. Yes, I understand we have a lot of supply chain issues as it is right now, but I'm going to go on and continue to say, as of right now, today, watching this video, timestamp down here, most of us don't have the money and the finances, and prepping is a slow build to get where you're comfortable. If you're just starting out, I'm going to say most of you will go into this with a hesitancy, and rightfully so. But I encourage you to build one day. Get your food, get your water, get your supplies for one day. Then move on to 3. Put it out a little further. Move it out to a week. If you can get out to 7 days, 3 to 7 days will get you through most emergency situation, whether it be a flood or a tornado or earthquake or any sort of thing like that. 7 days will usually get you through it. If not, it gives you a really good starting point that you're going to get through it a lot better and a lot easier than some. And it gives you that 7 days to kind of figure out, how you're going to resupply and move forward. So great article. Again, I'm going to go through and post the link to this so that way you can go read his article in its entirety. I just thought this would be a fun little thing because I see the myths all the time, all over, and a lot of them I think they're comical. But if you're new to this and you saw some of the myths and you don't know, maybe this will help you out. If I forgot some, go ahead and share them because I know there's probably a ton out there that I did not cover in this, and I'd really love to read them. Go ahead and drop them down here, and I'll see if I can get back to you. Go ahead and like and subscribe to this. Throw down a comment. Let's go ahead and grow the community. Go check us out on Facebook, The Rural Report. And with that, I'll end this by saying, remember to remain united. We're all prepping in this together.